Thumbs. I've got them. You might have them. You've seen them. You've at least heard of thumbs. Thumbs are all around us, as are their nails. Today we're talking about how to make your thumbnails just as good as the best of the thumb people of days past. The first documentation of thumbnails in Western text started in 1492 when Columbus arrived upon the shores of America and discovered the ancient thumb people who had gone undisturbed for hundreds and hundreds of years. These tribes would then be featured later on in the Spy Kids movies, as you probably know them today. When the Santa Maria specifically arrived upon the rocky shores, they witnessed a mating routine that the thumb people would use. The potential bachelors of the day would cover themselves in sand, sticking only their thumbnail above. That was the only thing you could see. That's what you had to judge them by. And potential mates would browse the thumbnails, and they'd have to make their choice based on the little thumb sticking up from the sand. So whatever caught their attention, that's what they chose. That's how you can see how this transfers to modern day. The thumbnail is what you judge the video by. It gives a little sense of the rest of the body of work, just like the thumbnail sticking out from the sand gave a sense of the body underneath. I'm Matt Solnick, and you might recognize me from Casey Neistat's 368 video where I was featured prominently. I'm a videographer, and I do pictures and videos for different companies and clients. I also help people with social media strategy and growing their personal brand. A lot of the discussion and tips about thumbnails these days focus on the idea of clickbait, kind of this dishonest sensationalism that you portray in the thumbnail to get people to choose your video just purely based on some kind of title or image that will be sure to capture their attention. But if you want people to be engaged and retain your audience once they click on your thing, you don't want them to feel betrayed. So you need to have a balance between something that captures their attention and something that authentically represents what the video is about. So let's talk about what people look for in a thumbnail, and we'll take a look at some good examples of thumbnails and some bad examples of thumbnails and where people can improve so you can take these lessons and apply them to your life. My first piece of advice would be identify the category that your content fits into. Kind of similar to how movies carry a set of expectations about them based on their genre, the category of your content also carries a similar expectation or trend of what those thumbnails look like. For example, in the travel video category, people like Sam Kolder and Rory Kramer and Matt Como, Naona Langer, like all these people popularized a thumbnail that looks kind of like this. There's this classic rectangle with your title and then some adventurous background. And it's all very clean and minimalistic, very aesthetic. You know? Then more like comedy, vlog, kind of like the YouTube reality TV-ish genre. There's often this outline that they make in Photoshop where you kind of have this rough perimeter around some main characters and some shocked face, maybe some words. Could keep going on with different examples, but check out the category of videos that your stuff fits into and check out what the thumbnail trends are with that. Take from that, but also make it your own. It's really important from a branding point of view that once you figure this stuff out, you stick to this aesthetic. People will come to expect a certain look from you, and they should be able to know, like, I see that image, boom, it's this guy's video. I'm gonna click on that. Oftentimes when people change up their thumbnails, you see in the comments like, oh, I didn't even know this was your video. I thought this was somebody else's because you didn't have your watermark that you put in it. Oh, it's like a different background. Random example, but like Bobby Burns is known for this classic red background. Not only does the audience know what to expect from you in terms of genre, but also in terms of it being your video, your content. Text is a little bit trickier. A really common problem that I see with a lot of people who are starting their YouTube channels is they will just repeat the title of the video in the thumbnail, which it doesn't mean it's bad, but you're like wasting the opportunity to take advantage of this space where you can also give more information about what the video is about. You want the text in the thumbnail to complement whatever the imagery is, as well as the title. If you're not sure what the text should be on your thumbnail, then try thinking about it like you'd think about the subtitle of a book. These are just random examples, but you'll see there's the main title, which kind of introduces you to this general topic and maybe catches your attention. It maybe brands the video, but then the subtitle builds on that with the imagery. So I'm just gonna read some book titles. Frankenstein, title, subtitle, The Modern Prometheus. Oliver Twist, The Parish Boy's Progress. Middlemarch, A Study of Provincial Life. Peter Pan, or The Boy Who Wouldn't Grow Up. Vanity Fair, A Novel Without a Hero. Like all these things, maybe the title doesn't give you a full sense of what the book is going to be about, but the subtitle builds on that, and then you kind of know what you're getting into before you go and commit to reading it. So let's look at some examples. I think these guys are really good to look at because they are indisputably experts at branding and PR, not just with traditional media, but with new media and YouTube. You can say like they're old guys, they didn't come from YouTube, they didn't come from Instagram, but they know their and they are kind of gurus with digital media. So they should be killing their thumbnails every time. So here we're looking at a thumbnail from Gary Vaynerchuk. The title is How to Get the Job You Want with No Experience. So before even looking at the image, just from the title alone, you get a sense for what this is going to be about. It's going to be about business, it's going to be kind of a tutorial, it's going to be informational, and you get a sense that this is going to be coming from a person of authority. So now let's look at the imagery of this. He's sitting in a chair in an office talking to somebody else. What does this tell us? It paints him in a position of authority, just like the title did. You get the sense that he's going to be just kind of talking and ranting to somebody else. So most of it's probably not going to be to camera. It's going to probably be this like candid capture of a conversation he's had. And also the imagery and text, just the title, not the subtitle. If you are a fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, you're gonna click this probably because this is the content you'd expect from him. The subtitle that you see on the thumbnail, Why You Should Work for Free. The text in the image is complementing the title. It's playing an important role and it's painting a fuller picture of what this video is going to be about. Let's check out another one, Ryan Serhant this time. Once again, this really paints him in a position of authority. It's called How I Use Competition as Fuel. Sitting in an office in a chair, this one is to camera, and just as the thumbnail would suggest, more of this video is him talking directly to you. The subtitle, Revenge. That is bold. You're like, oh my God. This builds on how he uses competition as fuel. If you watch the video, he talks about revenge and having his success be the kind of you to people that didn't believe in him, and as being a motivation to continue and keep growing. You get all this from the subtitle. It's 15 minutes, but like you're into it. You're intrigued. It paints a picture of what the video is going to be about, and it's consistent with his branding. Finally, an important thing to pay attention to in your thumbnail, you need to make sure you're planning ahead for the timestamp in the bottom right corner. Sometimes people will have it cluttered with stuff and then it gets blocked by those numbers, so just make sure, leave some space so that when YouTube adds that, it still looks okay. If this was helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more. Check out my Instagram, that's where most of my stuff is, @MattSolnick. I'm posting daily on there, stories every day. That's where you can go to keep up with me in the present. And I hope you can make your thumbnails just like the ancient thumb people made theirs.